stories for Friday, March 28th. I'm your host, Daniel Hill. Today's show is full of social media news, including Instagram now supporting holding down your finger to watch Reels twice as fast, like TikTok has had for years. The head of Instagram, Adam Mosseri, is going to talk about how to edit a Reel once you've posted it. Hint, you can't. That's going to just be a disappointment. And the head of Meta and the creator of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, is going to be talking about some of the new features that they're bringing to Facebook, which they're calling OG Facebook, bringing back the things that you used to know and love about Facebook back in the day. And they're starting with a Friends tab, which is going to be a list of all the content that your friends are posting, so you don't have to deal with all the suggested posts in the feed. And if we have time, a clip from Mr. Beast talking about how he uses YouTube and the feature that he wishes Facebook had. All of that and more on today's episode, but first, here's a quick word from our sponsors. Welcome back. Let's dive right into the Instagram news. The @creators account posted, "We're rolling out the ability to play Reels at 2x speed to help give people a new way to improve their Reels experience on Instagram. To use the feature, simply long press on the right or left edge of the screen, and the Reel will play at 2x speed until you release." Now, you might think you don't need this feature, but trust me, when you are watching someone tell a long story and you want to know what is the point or where is this story going, to be able to tap and hold your finger on the screen to have the video go at 2x is a wonderful feature. You will be addicted to it in no time. Trust me, when I don't have the ability to hold my finger on videos, I am so frustrated. This is a good reminder to keep your Instagram app updated so that you can always have the latest features. Since we're talking about Instagram, let's move on to the head of Instagram answering a question about having the ability to edit a Reel after it's posted. Someone posed the question to him, can we have the option to edit a Reel? To discard it or replace it if we made revisions, same with posts, would be really helpful. Unfortunately, there's no way to edit a Reel after it's been posted, but man, I really wish Instagram had that feature.
So unfortunately, no, you cannot edit a Reel after you post it. But with edits, which is coming out soon, you're going to be able to save it and send it to a friend if you want to get some feedback. And on Instagram already, if you are not sure yet or not, if you want to commit to posting the Reel to all your followers, you can use a trial Reel, which will basically not put on your profile and not show it to your followers yet. And you can get some signal over the first half a day or day and decide if you want to actually upgrade it to a full-blown Reel or not. So hopefully this helps.
I do not love his answer, but to be fair, the suggestion of using a trial Reel is a good stopgap. You can always post it to a small amount of people and take it down if, for whatever reason, you recognize it has a mistake or something else, and you can fix it. However, you need to re-edit it somewhere. If you didn't save the draft or you didn't edit in another app and then save that, you're kind of stuck. I really think Instagram needs the ability to edit Reels once they've been posted. Let's move on to the Facebook news. Historically, I don't talk about Facebook very much on this show because there's not very much exciting things to get into. However, Facebook has announced that they are bringing back the OG Facebook experience. They say in a blog post, which of course I'll link to in the show notes, that over the years, Facebook has evolved to meet changing needs and created best-in-class experiences across groups, video, marketplace, and more. But the magic of friends has fallen away. They say that they will be adding several OG Facebook experiences throughout the year, beginning with the revamped Friends tab. To talk about this more, here's the CEO of Meta and the creator of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg.
One-to-one or
so this
like
is phase one of bringing back OG Facebook.
Okay.
We got all right. So here's basically how I'm thinking about this. It started Facebook, and it started off as this online directory for people to get to know the people around them in their communities. We had all these different utilities on kind of old school Facebook. And then it sort of evolved in this direction that one part of it, which was sharing a newsfeed, just completely kind of outscaled and ended up being by far the most important part of the product. And we just focused on that, and we focused on it. And now we're here 21 years later. And that feed part in the sharing ecosystem, it's used by 3 billion people around the world. People spend a lot of time on it. They enjoy it. But this funny thing happened, which is that a lot of the other kind of fun and useful parts of the original experience, we just sort of didn't focus as much on. And not only did we not focus on them as much, but I kind of look around the internet today and I realize that no one else actually recreated a lot of these things that used to be pretty magical about Facebook either. So I actually think that there's this whole opportunity that I think is going to be pretty fun to go after and build, which is just to kind of go one by one and build up a bunch of these things that used to be these joyful experiences that people had as part of Facebook that just kind of don't exist on the internet today. So I think, the Friends tab is kind of an early and simple one, right? It's kind of like Newsfeed, but it's just all the content from your friends. And the idea is just to put a little bit more of that emphasis back on connecting with friends. But this is really phase one. We got a lot more stuff like this coming. I'm pretty excited about this. It's going to be a fun project.
Okay, I'm going to pause it here for a second. At this point, you're probably wondering, why did Facebook spend so many years trying to convince us that the newsfeed was the way to go, and suggested posts from accounts that we didn't follow is what we actually wanted in our newsfeed? I'm going to let Mark Zuckerberg answer that question, but first, here's a quick word from our sponsor. Welcome back. We're listening to the CEO of Meta, Mark Zuckerberg, talk about why they're bringing back OG Facebook and why those experiences that we had back in the day were so powerful. Here's the CEO of Meta, Mark Zuckerberg, explaining why Newsfeed was not a mistake, even though it kind of feels like at this point they think it was.
I don't think it was a mistake that Newsfeed ended up being the main way that people use not only Facebook, but basically all of the other major feeds and social products that are out there too. I think this is like pretty clearly it's a great product. It's a great way to kind of learn about the world, to find content that's going to be relevant to you, and to have different social interactions, right? A lot of social interactions in an old feed used to be, you see some friends' content, you comment on it. Now I think the modern kind of social interaction is you, from a social app, is you find some content in feed, you reshare it into a group chat, and you're talking to your friends about it there. So I think that for all these reasons, Newsfeed and other feeds and similar products have kind of evolved to be the primary thing. And I don't think that's going to change. It's not like, I don't think that like we're going to get to a state where people are using the Friends tab or any of these other things that we're going to use necessarily more than they're using Newsfeed. I just think that these also have a place where they're fun and they bring joy and can be an interesting thing that I think people want. And there's no reason why they shouldn't exist in the world. And I just think it's an interesting quirk of kind of the modern social apps and the internet, that these things that we sort of used to have ended up evolving into something else, and nothing really kind of like took its place. And basically, no one went back and built a college service, after Facebook went on to be a broader thing. No one went on to. I mean, I don't want to give away too much of the other stuff that we're doing in phase 2, 3, and 4, but it's but I think like there's no reason why there shouldn't be a good friends feed of content from your friends. So I think it's gonna be fun. Yeah, no, I don't think it's gonna be as used as like the main news feed, but I think people are gonna like it. And I think when you add in a handful of other things like this, it will change the way that people feel about and use Facebook.
Okay, I'm going to stop the clip there because later on in the interview, some more interesting things happen, and I want to highlight those. In this conversation, later on, Mr. Beast stops by. If you're not familiar with Mr. Beast, his name is Jimmy Donaldson. He has the most subscribers of any YouTube channel. He has the third most followed account on TikTok, and he does all kinds of fantastic things. I personally am not a huge fan of his content, but you can't ignore how much he's accomplished through YouTube and other platforms. In this interview, they ask, Mr. Beast, if you were CEO of Meta, what would you do to change Facebook? Mark Zuckerberg is right there, but he gives this answer anyway. And honestly, it's something I have been saying we need for a long time. Here's the clip.
I mean, one thing I think really sucks is like on YouTube, you can do different audio tracks. So 70% of my audience on YouTube, they don't speak English. So I upload videos and then you just upload a bunch of different files. And so if you click on my video in Mexico, it autoplays in Spanish. And we get like 20 million views of video in Spanish. We get 10 million views of video in Portuguese, et cetera, all around the world. And what's brutal is when I post those same videos on Facebook or any of your platforms, I can't import the dubs over. So my viewership is always just infinitely lower because, people from Mexico and people from Brazil and things like that, they can't watch it with dubs. So, I mean, I know the teams are working on that kind of stuff, but if I was CEO, that's one of the first things I would fast track because it's such a, like, obviously everything you do, revolves around the creators and people who use the platform, and you want to help them get more views and more engagement and stuff like that. And it's like pretty crippling. Like once it clicks in your head and you're like, whoa, only like 15-20% of the world, or whatever the number is, consumes content in English. And if you're not dubbing, you literally can't reach, majority of the world. It's like brutal. It feels almost barbaric to use a platform where you have to like pick a language. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's definitely a good one. And I think that this is a good example of where AI is going to be very helpful too for auto dubbing into basically every language. But yeah, no, I mean, I think that historically, I do think that there have been a number of tools like this that we've needed to add. And our team is, especially on the Facebook side now, is really prioritizing building out all the tools that creators need to make Facebook their primary home.
Yeah, the auto dubbing I think will be it. We actually, in one of our 16 languages, we swapped out the voice actors and started doing AI dubbing, and the retention's actually 1% higher in that language, because when you do AI dubs, you can use my voice instead of it sounding like a voice actor. It's me speaking. So even though it's like marginally worse, because it sounds like me, people are watching a little longer, and it's getting so much better every month that I wouldn't be surprised if ideally in a year I just post a video on Facebook, check a box, and then it like you said, just AI dubs it in 20 languages. That'd be ideal.
I'm going to stop the clip there, but Mr. Beast is exactly right. Instagram has said that they are working on something to allow you to have your videos in different languages. But if you think about it, only a small percentage of the world speaks the language that you do. I always say that if you make a piece of content, you should post it everywhere so that everyone has an opportunity to see that, regardless of which platform you're on most. Having said that, if that content that you post everywhere is also available in every language to everyone, there is no downside to that. The more it sounds like you, the better it's going to be. And AI is clearly going to play a part in that. But I think this is absolutely something that we all need yesterday, because everyone should have an opportunity to hear and digest everyone's content. That is going to do it for today's episode. As always, thank you for listening, and be sure to come back on Monday when we break down what the head of Instagram shared on his Ask Me Anything.
Let me tell you a couple things that you should know about me. A product manager, but do not have a bachelor's degree. But actually, that's factually a fraction of me. Another fraction's posting content irregular and irrationally. Still probably won't get a job at the Gram. They forgot, they don't know, or don't care who I am. That's why you never see me at the parties and events. My lack of followers must make me irrelevant. Don't have a course, a book to sell to make a bag of grand. Not a social media marketer, don't represent any brands. Plain to see, don't have an agency, but I got a lot of spam. Just putting in my work without the glitz and glam. Won't catch me eating fish unless it's shrimp or clam. No six pack, no risk that there's a gym card in my hand. Don't have a full-time job, but I got a lot of plans. Stay plotting, dropping knowledge on TikTok and Instagram.